Professor Mostafa sat at the front of the classroom, his warm smile greeting his students. Today's lesson was crucial, understanding the complexities of cultural differences and how they shape communication and behavior. His students, Tariq, Layla, and Sarah, all had unique backgrounds. As they gathered around the table for the lesson, he could see the excitement and curiosity in their eyes. Professor Mostafa began by introducing the concept of cultural dimensions, specifically focusing on power distance, masculinity versus femininity, and uncertainty avoidance. Power distance refers to how power is distributed within a society, he explained. In some cultures, there is a clear hierarchy and respect for authority. In others, power is more evenly distributed. For example, in Malaysia, where Sarah is from, people often respect authority figures. Sarah nodded. Yes, in Malaysia, it's common to bow or show respect when addressing elders and people in authority. Professor Mostafa continued. On the other hand, in countries like Denmark, there's a low power distance. People are more informal, and hierarchy is less pronounced. Layla, who was from Germany, spoke up. In my country, power distance is also lower. I've noticed that we're encouraged to voice our opinions openly, even in front of professors or managers. The professor smiled. Exactly. Now let's move to masculinity versus femininity. In more masculine cultures like the US, there is a focus on achievement, success, and competition. Meanwhile, feminine cultures like the Scandinavian countries prioritize quality of life, relationships, and care for the weak. Tariq, who came from a Middle Eastern background, said, I've seen this in my country too. There's a strong emphasis on hard work and success, especially for men. Women's roles are often more centered around the family. Professor Mostafa added, That's a good observation, Tariq. Now let's talk about uncertainty avoidance. In cultures with high uncertainty avoidance, people prefer clear rules, stability, and predictability. Countries like Japan and Greece tend to have higher uncertainty avoidance. On the other hand, in cultures with low uncertainty avoidance, people are more comfortable with ambiguity. Sarah shared, In Malaysia, we're more comfortable with structure and clear expectations. I've noticed that in business settings, things are often done in a very planned, predictable manner. Professor Mostafa then shifted the conversation towards the importance of valuing diversity. He looked at his students and said, As we learn about these cultural dimensions, it's crucial to appreciate and respect perspectives that differ from our own. Layla, always thoughtful, added, I've been exposed to different cultures through my travels. I've learned that embracing diversity means listening to others, even when their experiences or views are different from mine. Tariq nodded, I agree. I've seen that people from different cultures have different ways of thinking. For example, in my culture, decisions are often made by elders. But I've learned that in some cultures, the younger generation is encouraged to speak up and share their ideas. Professor Mostafa smiled, exactly. And this brings us to the next point, displaying respect for cultural beliefs, even if they differ from your own. In multicultural settings, it's important to understand that everyone comes from different backgrounds and holds different beliefs. Just because someone's belief system or tradition is different from yours doesn't mean it's wrong. Respect and understanding are key. Sarah reflected. In Malaysia, there are different religions and ethnic groups, and we often celebrate each other's festivals. We might not practice the same traditions, but we show respect for each other's beliefs. Professor Mostafa then moved on to a more practical topic. He discussed how to develop problem-solving strategies in multicultural contexts. When you work with people from different cultural backgrounds, you may encounter challenges. For example, different work styles, communication patterns, or approaches to conflict can lead to misunderstandings. Layla added, In my experience, when there's a conflict, it's important to understand where the person is coming from culturally. Sometimes, in Germany, we tend to be very direct, and that might be seen as rude in other cultures.